My name's Alex Cox. I am the producer for 2K Games on Mafia 2.
Hello, I'm Jarek Kolar. I'm a senior gameplay producer of Mafia 2.
Boom, 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 boom.
The team's tired. It's been a long slog. A lot of work in the last 6 to 9 months particularly in terms of bug fixing. It's a big game, so there's been a hell of a lot of work that's gone into that, balancing all of these things. But we're very, very happy with the result.
Yeah, it's been a relief to have it finished, but also we are really looking forward to see how the world will perceive our game.
Yeah,
because we've been working so long, so we basically lost our objectivity. So now we are really looking forward to see what people will say about how they like and what from our areas was good idea or what was a bad decision.
We came out of the original Mafia, or rather the team did at the time. I wasn't working there at the time, but with an awareness that the console experience was nowhere near as good as the PC version. It was disappointing, of course, but it was a technical limitation because the development was PC led. So there was a game that was very demanding, really, as a PC game when it was launched, and then for the consoles at the time, PS2 and Xbox, to deliver that was unrealistic. So there was a compromised version.
So with the Mafia 2, we really started with thinking about the consoles from very beginning, and the development was really in the way that we are supporting these consoles fully. The game is simultaneously developed on all of them, on all of these platforms. So and the console market is especially in the way that it requires some kind of usability for the users. So they really want to be relaxed and play in a very nice fashion. So this is something which we add to the game, and it also basically makes the PC version better.
I think there's a good relationship here because the PC sort of legacy of the studio and of Mafia has kind of lent the console version a graphical and technical kind of features which are pretty cool. Seamless streaming between very detailed interior environments, exterior environments, and just general art quality are great things which the console versions have almost inherited from PC games of yore from Illusion, the studio before 2K Czech. But the PC version has equally benefited from the consoles, as in terms of usability features and things like that, which are very standard for console games, but maybe not so much for PC. So there's been a good both types of both platforms have benefited.
I would say the mentality of the team is that they really want to have this authenticity. So basically, it was more hard for me as a gameplay producer to put some gameplay there which would maybe affect the authenticity or something. I have to fight really hard with some of these guys because they really want this to be absolutely realistic. But this is something which we think the users will appreciate. That some games are proposing some fictional worlds and so on, but the reality, and especially the reality which comes from history, it's very attractive and very unique, nice, beautiful.
I agree. I think that while a sci-fi setting or something like this might offer some bigger explosions or crazier kind of visual effects and things like that, at the same time, I think what gamers are really looking for is a distinctive experience. Something which is original, which is going to give them something which they'll remember, which is a bit different from the rest. And I think certainly in terms of Mafia, in terms of what the game has to deliver, giving you the opportunity to play as a Mafia gangster, one of these characters from a Hollywood mob movie, that's pretty distinctive. I think that's pretty compelling. People are going to want to do that, and whether or not you want to be a space captain or you want to be a pirate or you want to be or a football manager, it doesn't matter. You want to have a distinctive experience, and Mafia certainly stands out in this regard, I think.
And I would say that reality, it maybe gives us some limitation in what we can do, but also it gives us some things which really push our game forward. It makes our game shine because it's nice and people can understand it.
Take you home with me.
The whole idea of the city of Mafia 2 is a backdrop. I think it's quite important to understand about the structure of the game. That we've really focused on the story and the this kind of exciting third-person action, cinematics presentation, all of these things. this is where our focus is, and the open world is like the context for the story to happen in, if you see what I mean. For you to be a believable player in the story, for you to be a believable character, for Vito, who is the main guy, to be the subject of all this drama, he needed to exist in a world that was plausible. So the open world has kind of been created in this way, so it feels believable. The period authenticity comes into this, but also reinforcing believable behaviour from the player. So he behaves like a mob guy, so he's scared of the cops, so he doesn't want to kill innocent civilians in the street. We make the player feel like this, so the whole picture fits together.
Basically, there are two concepts. There is concept of freedom and concept of experience, and we rather choose the concept of experience, where we really want to deliver something which strikes player, something story which gradually flows. The arc of the story is like consistent, and player really feels the drama all the time without like any interruptions and so on. So at certain like moments, we really decided to push some of the content away from the game, just to reinforce our narrative goals, to reinforce the experience we want to give to player. So some people may be disappointed, but this was really our goal, to provide player with this experience which we are giving. So some side missions we removed completely. Some side missions we basically made mandatory, because we felt that they are really coming together with the experience we want to provide. So they are not connected maybe with the main story, but are there and supports our vision. So this is the approach we took, and it's maybe completely different from some other so-called open world games, but I think it's very good for what we are giving to people.
The consumer demo is basically structurally exactly the same as the level in the game. The level in the game is set in the winter, but from the consumer demo, which is a marketing tool as much as anything else, we put it in the 1950s setting because this is more distinctive about Mafia. It's just simply, for us, it's like a question of turning it's one value, whether it's in the 1940s or in the 1950s. So we chose the 1950s because it's, and again, like the construct of the level has been created to show off like interior environments and things like this, which are features that exist in the game, but it's a construct specifically to give the player some tutorial. I mean, the level's from halfway through the game, so there's lots of things we've added in there to make it representative. We had like a range of endings, which was good. Like from a conceptual perspective, like it's great to think that you're giving the player choice, but in actual fact, we've told this very cinematic story. It's not a branching story. It's linear, and then there was a few choices that you made at the end, which sort of arrived in these endings. We did all of the work on them, produced them, and everything like that. But then we were like, well, actually, there is one ending here which is clearly the ending that we want to happen for Mafia 2. For the rest of the game, we've been so committed to this like linear cinematic route and path. Why would we want the game to end like these endings? Which, hey, it's interesting because the player has, interfered almost with the story at this point and said, okay, I think I would do this. And it's just like, well, Vito would do this. And this is the ending of the story for him and for the other characters. It was this choice.
It's basically what I said before. It's the freedom and experience, and we really we are focusing on delivering the experience. So
it's one of those things, yeah.
We really decided that, these endings should go. They are not interesting enough.
Lots of things hit the cutting room floor, I think, in the last period of a game, really, when you're, to deliver something that's quality, so oftentimes you have to remove stuff rather than, it's not like add more and make it better. It's just like, man, this is really not working, and right now it's kind of spoiling the game, and it's one of those things where it wasn't working, it was spoiling the game, so we removed it rather than going, well, we've made it now, so let's ship it. It made the game worse.
Basically, the last year we spent with polishing and debugging, and we were also polishing the flow of the game. So sometimes we saw the pace here, it's not interesting enough. We need to cut this part of the game. So it may be like the gameplay may be shorter, but why to give players some hour of something which is not interesting enough?
It's true. It's like editing a movie, I think. Like you cut until you've got like the most lean, mean kind of presentation, rather than including every single second of footage that you've shot just because you've shot it. And it's quite difficult. It's quite a painful process sometimes, but the end result's always better for it.
Do you think player choice works in that sort of way then?
Can do, but I think in the context of Mafia, again, because we spent so much time focusing on one thing, it's when we kind of thought, well, we want to deliver this. We want the player to feel like this character in a mob movie. This is what we want to achieve, and the choice thing didn't figure in that. It didn't. It was, we had a few things, a few areas of player choice, but in the end, it was like, so the player's chosen to do this, but Vito would clearly have not done this. Our character that we spent a lot of time fleshing out and realising in terms of his interactions, his relationship with other characters, his progress through the story, his arc of narrative, whatever else. And then we're like, well, at this point, now he's just done something super bizarre. You know, like, this was the way. I mean, like, this just didn't really work for Mafia 2.
The working man's a sucker, that's for damn sure.
You said it.
Oh, yeah. Well, come on home to me, baby.